Good morning. We are live. Welcome to the Morning Brief. I'm Kayode Kikelu here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Good morning, Anne. Good morning, Jeffrey.
Good morning, Kayode. How are you? How is Abuja this morning?
Well, they're still enjoying Abuja. So,
I'm
good morning.
very suspicious of that question, guys.
No, there's no need to be suspicious. Just answer. How is Abuja this morning? Our darling Kayode.
Abuja is okay.
No.
It's fair. It's okay. I'll leave it at that.
Well, welcome to the nation's commercial nerve center here in Lagos. And of course, there's no traffic in the nation's capital, but here, traffic and us like Siamese twins. You can't separate Lagos from traffic. But we're used to it. It's what makes us, hustle hard and work really hard. 20+ million people in the city of Lagos. What do you expect? But welcome again as, of course, the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. We're broadcasting from Lagos.
Well, a lot of people will say, especially people in Abuja, they'll say they can't afford to live in Lagos. But, I mean, we're here and we're tackling all of the whatever it is that's happening to us. And we love Lagos like that. So good morning, Nigerians. Good morning anywhere you are watching from. This is a Morning Brief on Channels Television. And thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Anne Nwawodu.
So, Kayode, let's take it back to you. 2 days now in the nation's capital. Wait, calm down first. Let's
I don't know. It looks like the Abuja.
Why are you in a hurry? So,
Okay.
why are you in a hurry? So, give us your highlight of the first. Is it 24 hours now? You've been there close to 48 hours.
48 hours.
Okay. The nation's capital is okay. I mean, it's there. And I think this is a lesson, really, to everyone. I see you guys want me to walk into a trap, but I've jumped over it. But this is a lesson, really. Every state of the Federation has its, comparative advantage and otherwise. And I think it's important to pay attention to those things. Abuja, for example, has the scenery, that serenity. Lagos has the hustle and the bustle. And you need a little bit of this and that to really, so like yin yang, you need a little bit of all of those things. So while Abuja has its, pros and cons, Lagos definitely has its pros and cons as well. So I'm not going to get into that trap this morning, guys. I mean, what is life without a little bit of traffic? It will be boring, right? I'm British. So traffic is good and it provides you an opportunity, to think of ways to solve the challenges around you. So I'm just going to leave it at that, so I do not get in trouble today, guys. All
right, but I'm sure you'll be back today, so all this Abuja tease you're showing us, it's going to end today, Kayode.
All right, guys, so there's a lot going on in the country at the moment, and we're all in for it. And part of what we do on the show is to ensure that we bring it to the fore. But I was listening, Kayode, to the Minister of Sports yesterday, Honorable Senator John and all, talking about the outcome. We've been following this Olympics thing, and our hearts all broke because 2012, we spent about 4 billion. Some people say don't call the money too much, but I'll keep calling the money because it's our investment. 4 billion we went to the Olympics with, we came back with nothing. The next year, we were able to pull off a bronze, and then the year after that, the next Olympics, which was 2020, we scratched off a few medals, just 2, silver and bronze. That's after spending about 2 billion or so. And this year, the president was quite magnanimous, and he released approved about 12 billion naira, 3 point something for the Paralympians, and then the remaining for the Olympians who just ended a trophyless, or what do you call it, medal-less tournament. And everybody's literally furious. Some people are calling for the head of the minister. The minister is taking responsibility, also calling for the heads of the federation. Some people are saying all of you should just fall on your sword and leave the scene. Some people are saying the minister is just barely a year in, he did his best. The head of the federation, they are the principalities in all of this. So it's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, this abysmal record that we recorded in this Olympics, where there are other backstories to it, is unacceptable, should never happen, and it would be very, very regrettable if at the end of all of this talk, nobody loses their job, whether it's federation or minister, or I don't know. It has to be that somebody must lose their job so that Nigerians will take this thing quite seriously.
Well, Jeffrey, I'm just about 10 minutes drive from the presidential villa, 10, 12 minutes. You'll get to the presidential villa. Incidentally, President Tinubu is not in the country. He's on a state visit to Equatorial Guinea. And, this is just part of a broader conversation, Jeffrey. And all eyes are on ministers across board in President Tinubu's cabinet. And people naturally would look at the outcomes, the output, they're seeing, the results. I mean, we've had campaigns, we've had the promises, the renewed hope promises, but this is the time people want to see, those results. So the sports minister is one of several of them, and I think Nigerians have their scorecard right there. So Nigerians, absolutely, let us know what you think about the performance of the ministers. The sports minister, yes, but other ministers that touch your lives. So while that is ongoing, let us tell you what we have for you on the show this morning. Quite a package, really, because there's been a lot of things happening across the country. Well, we'll start off with that very controversial bill where the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has withdrawn that counter-subversive bill after the uproar, both on and off social media, on that provision that prescribes jail term for those who refuse to recite the national anthem. So we find out what the motivation of that bill was originally, the thinking of the members of the National Assembly, and all of those other questions you have on your minds.
Well, we turn our attention also to the flurry of activities at the three tiers of government at the federal level, from handling the aftermath of the protest, that's the End Bad Governance protest, to the pay rise for judicial officers, and of course the clarification of legislatures' salaries. We'll definitely be delving into all of that on the show today.
Well, we talk about the serious things and then we cool off with the very light-hearted things. What is life without these creative people? Yes, he made the news after his kidnapping and eventual release, but there's more to this young man, Nigerian artist, than the harrowing experience. Newsy joins us on the show to share his art from the heart, right here on the program.
Of course, it would also be tracking all of the reactions and major tackling points across social media. Your comments will be up. We'll be reading them very soon. So please bring out all your comments, whatever it is you need reactions to, stories that have been trending, things you're not comfortable with, things you have heard, things you're happy with. We'll definitely be showing you the number that you can send it to on the screen. And don't forget to hashtag CTV Morning Brief. And on WhatsApp, you see the number very soon on your screen. That's the number on your screen. Please send in all your reactions and we're reading them. Don't forget, as you send them in, hashtag CTV Morning Brief.
Absolutely. So those are the magic, if you will. Well, this is Africa, so I'm at liberty to use those words. Magic numbers you can get to us across. So we say send only messages and videos. If we verify them, we'll amplify your voice. But hey, don't call anyone. Just send the messages. We'll be here to do the best we can to make your voices heard. It's a packed show. There's a lot of conversation, things that has to do with national interest. And then we'll end the show with the softer side of things. But we'll take this quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you your top stories and then we'll get to the show, the conversation of the day. Join us again. Top on the brief this morning, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has withdrawn the controversial counter-subversion bill. That's what it's called. The decision follows a public reaction to the bill, which seeks to criminalize subversive activities by organizations, associations, militias, cults, bandits, and other proscribed groups in Nigeria, also imposing prison sentence of those who refuse to recite the national anthem. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the Speaker on Media, Mr. Musa Keshi, explains that the decision reflects the Speaker's commitment to ensuring that the House remains truly the people's house. The statement reads in part, the Speaker acknowledges the significance of the concerns raised and the attention the bill has garnered, reaffirming that he will never support any action that might disrupt the peace and unity of the nation. As part of efforts to secure the nation and protect our territorial integrity, the Minister of State for Defense, Mr. Bello Matawale, who says the armed forces of Nigeria requires 200 million rounds of ammunition annually for its operation, costing the federal government at least $2 per ammunition. The minister disclosed this in Abuja at the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Ministry of Defense through the Defense Industries Corporation, that's the DICON, and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Nasani on establishment of ammunition production factory in Nigeria. The minister, who blamed past government for nation's failures to achieve self-sufficiency in the production of military hardware, assures Nigerians that the Defense Industries Corporation will in the next 3 years export its military capabilities through local manufacturing of military hardware. Moving on now, the National Security Advisor, Mr. Nuhu Ribadu, is urging the media to continue to push narratives that criminalizes the activities of extremists in the country. The Special Advisor on Strategic Communication in the Office of the NSA, Mr. Zakari Jigawa, stated this when he represented the NSA at the media engagement hosted by the National Counter-Terrorism Center in the nation's capital, Abuja. He explains that terrorism is decentralized, with ideology spreading across various platforms, and the media plays a key role in reversing the trend. Why? Let's also tell you that the Inspector General of Police and the Office of the National Security Advisor are assuring the independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) of adequate security for the conduct of Edo and Ondo state governorship elections. The security chiefs gave the assurances as the independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) raised some security concerns ahead of the elections in both states. The NSA is cautioning candidates and their supporters to be peaceful or face the full wrath of the law.
Peaceful campaign often heralds a peaceful election. I urge political parties, candidates, and their supporters to maintain the peace as we approach the election day and beyond. For the security agencies, this is the time to be more vigilant. You should leave no stone unturned in dealing with any real or potential threats to the conduct of peaceful and transparent elections.
Those planning to disrupt the election should not mistake the current administration's commitment to peace for weakness. We will defend the integrity of the polls using every lawful means at our disposal. Law enforcement agencies are on high alert and ready to swiftly and decisively deal with anyone trying to undermine the polls.
Let's also tell you that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is seeking a special court to try cases of crude oil theft, considering that it currently has hundreds of cases of crude oil theft, which is still investigated. The Director of Investigation at the Commission, Mr. Abdul Karim Chukul, made this known during the investigative hearing of the House of Representatives Special Committee on Crude Oil Theft in Abuja. According to the Commission, in 2019 alone, over 400 cases were charged to court, while in 2022, about 200 cases were charged.
This may sound funny, but it's genuine. You give out crude oil that sustains Nigeria's economy in your own backyard, and yet you sleep in hunger.
Absence of PMS and AGO in the NNPCL floating station has enabled illegal bunkering.
If you want to say that you are going to do any pipeline vandalization around Nembe area because of the road NDDC has provided, you will not go there, because the security operatives, both Army, Navy, can get there at any moment's notice.
Do you consider the current legal framework that establishes your organization enough in terms of your operations for you to checkmate the illegal financial transaction that is embedded in the activities of oil theft?
We would love to have an improvement on our legal framework as it currently is. There are cases that, oil theft cases that have gone on for over 10 years, some much longer than that, and then sometimes again, from the Court of First Instance, you see it running to appeal and then Court of Appeal and then to Supreme Court, So this also affects a lot in conclusion of the cases.
Are there any plans to incorporate more advanced surveillance technology and monitoring systems at the EFCC to curb this menace of crude oil theft?
We're dealing with offenders. Definitely we cannot just tell them the solutions, or rather the softwares that we're using. But what I want to say is we're deploying technology. in dealing with this, both at the intelligence level, at the investigative level, and even at the level of prosecution.
Well, a lot of call there as far as the EFCC is concerned to help us curb oil theft. But let's move on now. 16 people have been confirmed dead and over 3,000 people displaced in 10 local government areas of Jigawa State. That's in northwest Nigeria, following a heavy flood that wreaked havoc across the state. This was disclosed by the Executive Secretary of the State Emergency Management Agency during a press briefing in Duse, the state capital. According to him, over 3,000 homes were affected, while a total of over 2,000 hectares of farmland were washed away by the flood.
The number of households that was involved is 3,936. Then the persons that was displaced, who are in various maybe primary schools, so it's 3,834 persons that were displaced. The number of hectares of the land that was destroyed by the flood is 2,744 hectares. And total death for this period is 16 people died.
So immediately when we got the information, we deployed a team of engineers to go and assess the situation and to see how we prevent public outcry and how we will see and make sure that business activities are not disrupted within the states that links the road.
From Jigawa, let's head to River State, where the governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has urged his appointees to refrain from responding either verbally or through actions to the provocation of his political opponents. He said the intention of the opponent is to divert his administration's focus from achieving his set goals. Governor Fubara stated this during the swearing-in of 5 new commissioners and 2 special advisors at the executive chambers of the Government House in Port Harcourt on Wednesday. One of the 5 new commissioners, Dr. Samuel Anya from Abia State, was challenged by the governor to promote unity among residents from various parts of the country.
Finding yourself here is an opportunity for you to defend the government and also ensure that what these millions of people fought for about 11.5 months ago is not in vain. They stood for something. And today, because of that standing, we're still standing and conducting governance, even in the face of little distraction here and there. Joining our team today is an opportunity for you to add value. We're not bringing you on board to criticize or to abuse, because the only reason why the distractors are intensifying their shot is so that we will miss our target.
Away from River State, the Nigerian Customs Service has announced the modalities for the implementation of the 0% duty rate and value-added tax exemption on selected basic food items. Customs spokesperson Abdullahi Maiwada in a statement said the presidential approval was communicated through the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun. According to Maiwada, the policy requires that at least 75% of imported items be sold through recognized commodities exchanges. If a company fails to meet its obligation under the import authorization, it will lose all the waivers and must pay the applicable VAT, levies, and import duties. This penalty also applies if the company exports the imported items in their original or processed form outside of the country. The policy, which takes effect from July the 15th to December the 31st, will cover basic food items like Hawks brown rice, green sorghum, millet, maize, wheat, and beans. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, says broadcasters should be torchbearers for the betterment of Nigeria as they hold enormous influence in shaping narrative that affects the politics, culture, and security of the country. The minister, who declared open the first edition of the National Conference of the Society of Nigerian Broadcasters in Abuja, sought the partnership of the broadcast media in the quest of unifying and developing the country. It was represented by the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Press Council.
Your platforms have the power to illuminate the positive strides being made in our nation's governance, which will go a long way in reinforcing the public's trust in our democratic process. This gathering is not just a meeting of minds, but a milestone of our industry, marking our collective journey into the future of broadcasting in Nigeria. We are at a pivotal moment where the dynamics of content production are evolving rapidly, driven by digital revolution, and where our role as broadcasters is being redefined in the context of the political economy. My address this morning, therefore, underscores the importance of adaptability, innovation, and maintaining editorial integrity in the rapidly evolving landscape of digital broadcasting. Broadcasting has always been a powerful tool in shaping public opinion, influencing culture, and driving societal change. Dedication has shown over time. I mean, the hard work you have put in has brought us all the way to where we are today. You have paid your dues, and the industry has grown. Now we are at the point where we are talking about digital migration, AI, all kinds of innovation coming into the industry.
Let's head now to the international scene, and it's of concern, this one. World Health Organization has declared the Mpox outbreak in parts of Africa a public health emergency of international concern. The highly contagious disease, formerly known as monkeypox, has killed at least 450 people during an initial outbreak in the DRC. It has now spread across parts of the Central and East Africa, and scientists are concerned about how fast the new variant is spreading and the high rate of fatality. The WHO chief, Tedros Ghebreyesus, said the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is quite worrying. And now to sports. The Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Eno, is calling for comprehensive reforms of the different sporting federations in the country for efficient sports development. The minister indicated the leadership, or indicted the leadership of the Sporting Federation for lackluster outing in the Paris Olympics, emphasizing the need for systems and structures at the federation to get the best athletes to represent Nigeria and get the desired medals at the next games. While speaking on our program Politics Today, he added that the Nigerian Olympic Committee was dead when he assumed office in August 2023, and that none of the sporting federations have well-equipped training centers. Well, those are the stories we've been tracking. That conversation happened barely less than 24 hours ago, which is why we're saying somebody has to fall on their sword. We don't know who, but somebody must take responsibility. But you're also talking across social media, especially X. Anne joins me now to bring us up to speed with what you've been saying. Anne?
All right. Just before we begin what you've been talking about, I mean, in the sporting world, you begin to ask questions. Did they not know they were going for the Olympics after so many years of knowing that you're going to do something, and then you begin to be lackluster about activities surrounding sporting events? I think when people are held accountable for some of these things, maybe they'll begin to know that this is not politics. This is a sporting world, and take things more seriously. But let's begin with some of the trending stories that you've been sending, reactions to trending stories that you've been sending. And we'll begin with this one about thugs carting away Ganduje's corruption trial document. And the Kano State government, if you recall, had said yesterday that during the End Bad Governance protest, that thugs came in and took away all the documents and files on the corruption case against Mr. Ganduje, that's the former governor of Kano State. And these words are coming from the Kano State government, and you've been reacting to that. And this first reaction is coming from Onyalo Kalo. He says, "I have become immune to anything that happens in Nigeria's political space."
I think sometimes this joke is...
from swallowing money, from a snake swallowing money, to a monkey doing something, and you're wondering
what Nigerians are wondering.
What's going on?
Ambushing the court premises is illegal. Nobody should do that. Those are not what protesters. Those are hoodlums. And so those hoodlums were brave, smart enough to know where the documents are, sorted the document, found the Ganduje owner, and took it away. Yeah. Okay. At Kednor said they should define definitely have copies with lawyers and the judges. Why is this a problem? Unless they have all connived to end the matter this way, Nigeria, my country, nothing will need to happen.
All right, Samuel Leslie says that Nigeria, a country where everybody is deceiving everybody. We are watching. Jeremy
Adetunji says, yep, they are not thugs. They are looters. Treating them as thugs is naive and complicit in criminal activities.
And Design Mat 24 says that they know we're not foolish and that we'll accept things as they are, with nothing ever changing. It's disheartening because we're not serious in this country. How long will the corruption continue to evade justice? Corrupt individuals continue to evade justice. How many politicians have actually been arrested and sent to jail?
It's just heartbreaking to see some of this story. And again, I saw a story yesterday about the NNPCL saying that production of PMS may not start August again.
Yeah. So we keep moving.
I had to tweet or send a post and said, Twitter there and said, I hope this is not true. I don't want to believe that this is so.
The last time we're just saying, you know what, stop giving us dates because.
Okay, let's go to the next one because wonders will never end. This is, you remember that video of a lady tearing her husband's international passport? So that's the video.
Well, she's been arrested.
She's been arrested.
And taken to Abuja for questioning. That's the video you're seeing at the arrest. That's the Abuja airport when she was being escorted by the men of the Migration Service, officers there arresting her. And also her husband has reacted actually to that arrest. But let's see your reactions first before we talk about her husband's reaction. And this is coming from
the husband. I think the husband talked about it was a skit.
Yeah, he said it was a skit, and that wasn't his international passport and all of that. But we'll get to that. Let's see what Sikiru 001 is saying before. All right. Sikiru 001 says that then provide your passport for us to see. It's like you, Seth, wants to join her for questioning.
Okay. Achekemi, I guess S. Chenia, I guess that's the pronunciation, forgive me. LOL, that's laugh out loud. Then where is it? You should be showing us as proof. Simple. If that's not your international passport, show us the real one.
Well, I guess maybe the reactions from the wife when they hear her answers to whatever it is, maybe that would sort that. But LT Galax says that arrest the husband too for shooting such kind of content.
Yeah. Emmanuel Wakpa says, you suppose hold the passport for this your skit now. Make this second skit not put you for another trouble. So for those of you who don't understand pidgin, how do you interpret that? How do you interpret that? So just have your main passport. Right. just have your main passport, okay? So that the second one, if this is another skit, so it doesn't put you in trouble.
Exactly.
That's the best I can do. Sometimes you think these things are easy to interpret. Do we have more time for this? Okay. Let's get to that particular bill that was yes, the House of Representatives.
That's the anti-subversion bill. And the House of Representatives.
Quite controversial. When we saw the bill, like, what is going on? What do you want to do to the civic space?
Well, it was a prison sentence of 10 years actually.
Okay, so basically, part of the bill says the speaker actually had to come out to say the bill is targeted at terrorists and all of that, anti-terrorism, all of the explanation. But it can be very dicey if you see content of the bill. Things like legislating over insults. I've never seen that anywhere in the world. That in a democracy, legislating that if you refuse to, sing the national anthem and all of that, maybe. You will be fined and even jailed. But there are provisos to all of this. So, but Nigerians didn't want to have that. They said this is draconian, this is anti-democratic, this is unconstitutional. let's not even hear it. So this is what you are saying. Aisha Yusufu, you know, I guess. I would choose 20 years in prison than sing what she calls Tinubu's anthem passed by, well, I can't use the word she's using, masquerading as lawmakers in the National Assembly. Well, it's the national anthem passed by the National Assembly, so it has become binding on all of us. However you choose to respond, I guess the government will have to respond that. But so that we'll put this in context. Arise O Come used to be a national anthem for many years, and then the Tinubu administration has reverted to Nigeria We Hail Thee. So it has become law, binding on all of us. So how you respond to it is another different kettle of fish. Real Toby Akimbo says, so not a single lawmaker in the National Assembly has a sense to push a bill that criminalizes looting of public funds with capital punishment. Instead, they want to jail Nigerians for not singing national anthem. Crown Prince Come too says a bill is about to be passed by the National Assembly. If you insult any politician, you get 2 years in prison or 4 million naira fine. If you refuse to sing the national anthem, 10 years in prison. If you protest, 5 years in prison. I refuse to believe this is happening in Nigeria. How do you even define insult? That's a big question. Professor Boki says, what type of bills are the Nigerian politicians pushing to pass through the National Assembly? So Nigerians don't have the right to protest, call out their MPs or question their policies with all their problems in Nigeria. So those are the things you've been saying. But the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, did the right thing. In fact, it shouldn't have been legislated in the first place. And it shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have even been brought.
It shouldn't have been brought before. And then he was saying, "Oh, there's don't worry, it hasn't even passed. It's still at the introductory level." But what even inspired it in the first place? I mean, there's some parts of that bill which, of course, it's agreeable, but most of it is just you're just wondering, where did this even come from?
So let's bring them up to speed. People now reacted to his withdrawal. Remember, when the bill came out, there was a huge pushback. The system is already volatile. The politics is heated up. And then you're bringing this kind of bill. First and foremost, the timing is absolutely very wrong, out of place. So, but he has withdrawn it. Yes. We thank him.
And this is coming from Ajagun Shegun. He says that the House of Representatives should seek a 10-year prison sentence with hard labor and 5 million naira fine for Nigerians who lied under oath, embezzled public funds, or forged certificates to attain public office, not Nigerians who refuse to recite the national anthem.
So for context, when I looked at the bill, the refusal to sing national anthem with the intention also to subvert, to cause violence. So that's why I say contextually and all of that. But this bill is a no-no for Nigerians. So Love Carefully says, how did he come up with the
Which is the same question we're asking right
That's
now.
what I'm interested in. Did his new essay have anything to do with it? Maybe it was proposed being, well, he didn't complete a sentence. I don't know what he wanted to say. You have
all right, Onyez Nazumu says, dem for continue. Okay, maybe that's a continuation. But Barum29 says that Nigeria needs lawmakers who can think outside the box, solving Nigeria's intractable problems. We don't need laws creating a box around Nigerians or caging them.
All right, Pomo, or Pomo, if you will, with loads of numbers, says, have you ever seen someone you employed is seeking a law to stop his employer not to call him to order that he or she has a right to act as he pleases? Power actually intoxicates, so those who are in the corridor of power feel it's their right to behave anyhow.
Bright Omehu says that the speaker needs to do better. I'm yet to see him sponsoring any bill that improves the welfare of Nigerians. And a lot of Nigerians were talking about that on X, that you are creating some kind of law and bill, and you are not even focusing on the right things that should be focused on. And where did not singing or reciting the national anthem? I would like to hear from him so he know where that
I think he has done the first honourable thing. He's the honourable speaker.
To withdraw the bill.
He has done the first honourable to withdraw the bill. I think the next honourable thing for the speaker, if you ask me, is to apologize.
Yes, and explain.
To apologize to Nigerians and maybe explain better, because Nigerians are not going to have it. They're not going to take this for granted. Poka Pabi says the first introduction of thought was wrong. This shows many of the problems of state of the politics or something like that. So those are the things you've been talking about as far as the polity is concerned. You got to keep it coming. Our job here is to amplify your voice and make you heard. So if you post an X, we'll curate it and bring it to the show and make your voices heard. Look, they hear you. This is your country. It is our country. Section 14, subsection 2A says sovereignty belongs to you, the Nigerian people, through the constitution that the government and authorities will derive their powers to do anything they want to do. So if they choose to act out of order, by your definition, you have a right to call them out. Just like we're calling the NNPCL one more time. That Melek here is, sir, we hope the news that we're hearing that the production will not start in Port Harcourt refinery is not true. First, I don't want to believe it's true because just last month, you say you're not lying, that this thing is going to happen, it's going to start.
Well, let's give him a benefit of doubt.
No, we're reminding him, just in case they are contemplating shifting it.
Well, I like the fact that someone said yesterday on X that the office of Nigerians as citizens is never vacant. Because we always talk and we will always react to whatever it is you're bringing to us. And I like how Nigerians are taking this thing seriously and being part of politics and policies in the country. So we hope that this is not true because it will just drive us back.
It's all over the place that it is true. But
let's just, sometimes let's just believe that.
I don't want to believe it's true because this is going to be the 6th time. Yeah, they've been making that promise like we don't know. Guess how much has been spent for turnaround maintenance? Over 10 trillion. Over 10 trillion of Nigerians had end taxpayers' money.
You know, we just sometimes joke about these things, but it's serious. I mean, we are not. But anyway.
Well, we have a big conversation for you after the break, okay? Remuneration. How much do senators earn? The controversy around all of that. Judicial officers now earning 300% increase. Public officials, for teachers, and all of that. We'll look at all of that, as well as things in the economy and the state of the nation. Someone from the National Assembly joins us in just a moment. Join us again.
Well, let's get into our very first conversation for the day. There's been a lot of attention on the National Assembly, and rightly so. Right? They represent you and I, from the Senate, that's the red chamber, to the House of Representatives, the green chamber. Well, we have the state assemblies as well. But this morning, we're starting with the federal legislative arm of government. Talks about the salaries, the take-home allowances, the big one about the counter-subversion bill, as well as other national issues. We're joined on the program by the senator representing Kano South Senatorial District, Senator Sumaila Kawo. Good morning, Senator. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Morning.
Well, there's a lot of spotlight on you, lawmakers, and as I said, that's understandable because of the role you play. You represent millions of Nigerians. But let's start with the big one, which has been, causing a lot of back and forth. Eventually, the Speaker withdrew that counter-subversion bill. The provision on the jail term for those who refuse to recite national anthem irked a lot of people, and for them, they thought that was going too far. Now, there are other provisions in the bill, but this particular one got a lot of people angry, and then the Speaker rightfully withdrew that bill. But what are your thoughts on it, Senator?
Well, I think it's the best way to handle the situation. He's the Speaker of the Nigerian Parliament. He representing people, and we are doing law because of Nigeria. Therefore, if for any reason Nigerians show that they are not interested or they are not in support of that legislation, definitely the National Assembly or the Parliament must withdraw that bill. I commended him. This is what he's supposed to do, and he do the right thing.
Interestingly, that was going to come to the Senate eventually, because in the statement that was released originally, he explained the process of lawmaking. Yes. So the House of Reps does its work. Yes. The Senate also has to be involved. But that provision, do you think it's okay to actually prescribe jail term or punishment for people who fail to recite the national anthem? For some people, it looks like you don't recognize Nigeria. So do you think there should be punishment, or everybody should be left, recite it or not?
Well, it is two things. Going with the situation of Nigeria today, where we are today, I think it is not necessary for us to have a law making it mandatory for Nigerians to recite national anthem. Maybe you will say some people in the government, or before you attain some position in the government, you must do so. But morally, each and every Nigerian is supposed to recite the national anthem, being the symbol, being something that is very unique to our country. But I think it is not necessary, more especially this time around where we have so many issues in table which we need to attend.
So you think this is not important?
It is not necessary, it's not important for now, yes.
All right. So let's talk about, perhaps there'll be other issues around it, but that's not the only one that has gotten a lot of people talking. The one that concerns money. You know, anywhere money is mentioned, people are naturally very interested.
Quite
and
right.
It has been your take-home salaries, the allowances. And it looks like Senator Shehu Sani has been a thorn in the flesh of the Senate of late. And some of the revelations he has put out, what he was earning at that time and what he says lawmakers, particularly senators, are earning now. Ramfak put out a statement. But yet again, Senator Shehu Sani on Channels Television yesterday still doubled down on his statement, saying that, well, that was what I was earning, and I know that this is what they're earning right now. He even quoted you, saying that he saw a particular report in the media about you corroborating or what have you. So you have a chance today. You had an interview with the BBC Hausa service. Did you in fact corroborate that you earn 21 million naira per month?
Yes, but you need to understand what I am saying, and you need to get me clear on what I am saying. There is difference between salary and allowances and the running cost of the office of the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Each and every office in Nigeria, it has a running cost. Something that office will be run with. Therefore, there is clear difference between running cost and salary. If you are saying take home, it means it is your legitimate right, which when you do the work or when you don't do the work, at least you will have it. You will not retire it. Yes, there is salary. Salary is from revenue mobilization and fiscal planning. There are commission. There are those who itemize all the salaries of all public officers, including the National Assembly, and their position is final. Therefore, it is the National Assembly who prescribe our own salary. It is very clear. Then there is a running cost of the office of the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is retireable. You are retiring it each and every month to run that particular office. Therefore, it is not an allowance. Let me cite an example for you. If they send you to Kano or Lagos to go and interview a governor of Kano or somebody there, it is the channel who will sponsor your trip. Therefore, people need to understand. I know that it is very difficult for Nigerians to understand what we are saying, but this is the truth. And each and every office in Nigeria, from the office of Mr. President downward, there is financial something attached to that office, to run that particular office. I will ask you a question. Are you telling me that when President is traveling out of the country, is he using his salary or it is the running cost of his office?
So let me get two things correct, Senator. First, is Senator Shehu, is he speaking the truth or not?
What I believe is that we have a salary and we have a running cost. Our running cost today, as the office of the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I stand by my position. It is 21 million. And there are some items from number 1 down, which is attached to that 21 million.
So you get 21 million naira monthly?
Yes, but you have to get what I am saying.
No, I know you've explained that there for running costs, not allowance.
Not allowance.
Good. So
not
things
allowance.
like, so what is a breakdown before we go to Lagos? Because I know Jeffrey and Ann wants to come. So what is a breakdown of your own 21 million?
I cannot give you all the breakdown now of head, but I know some of maybe local traveling and transportation. For example, as a representative of the people, you must travel to your constituency and you must go for an oversight function. One of our constitutional responsibility as members of the National Assembly is oversight. And most oversight was carried out of the National Assembly. Therefore, when you are going out, you are using part of that money, local transportation. You must transport yourself, accommodate yourself wherever you go, within that money earmarked for the office. Then international traveling. If you have any engagement outside Nigeria, you are to use that money. You will not exceed that.
How much is it?
It depends on how you plan it. If you are going to Ghana, definitely it is different to when you are going to Canada. Do you understand? Then office material, maintenance of office vehicle, to and pro. Well, local training, if you are attending any training locally or international training, security services, you are security. Then, of course, motor vehicle fuel cost, you are to fuel your car, refreshment or meal for your guest, either in the constituencies office or in your office here in Abuja. Contingencies like constituency outreach. If you are going for your constituency, as in our culture, we must visit so many engagement which will give us an information or educate us on what is going on that particular constituency. Therefore, visitors from your constituency. In most cases, you will invite people, maybe they will come to attend a public hearing or they come to observe the proceeding of the National Assembly, or you travel back to your constituency, invited them to come and discuss and chat new way on how to come up with effective and efficient legislation for better Nigeria.
Just a second.
And in some cases, right, outside your constituency.
Just a second. I know Jeffrey and Ann want to comment on this one. So Jeffrey, Ann, over to you now. He's been given a breakdown, and I know you want to dig deeper, guys.
Yeah, so I love that breakdown of saying what senators actually do with the money that they get. But you gave an example, Senator Kawu, of if Channel TV, of course, sends you somewhere, they are to sponsor it, they're to put down money to do something. But remember that, for example, Kayode, you said if Kayode was to go somewhere and Channel TV had to sponsor, of course, he had to do his job. It means that Kayode has to go and he's expected to do his job, right? Now, in cases where senators are giving this money, they have the running costs, they have their salaries, but their constituents keep also saying that we're not seeing the results of some of these things. You have listed so many things that are to be done with this money, but is it really getting any impact on the side of constituents, on the side of people who have elected you, who have said, oh, represent us here in this, office? Then you see, when you look at the money at the end of the day, and then you look at the projects or whatever it is that's to be done in these local areas, among people that you are representing, aren't you seeing a very big difference in it?
You need to understand what I am saying. And there is difference between running cost of the office of the senator and the project. You need to understand.
Yes,
project is another issue.
That.
What I am saying is that how we are running our offices as the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, quite all right, it is yielding a result. For example, when we resumed office in June 2003, last year, I think constantly, each and every week, I must go back to my senatorial district, organize a meeting between the security agencies, locals, traditional leaders, because we are faced with so many security challenges in my senatorial district. I have to go there. I have to go and see how we can put our head together,
which is what I'm saying also. So what has been the impact in all of your meetings every time, using the money to go for these meetings and calling on traditional rulers and everything? What is the exact impact that you have seen?
It yielded a result. It yielded a result. I have a statistic. Before I became a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for example, in Sumaila local government, Take local government, Dogwa local government, Tudunwada local government, Rogo local government, there is constant attack from bandits. There is serious kidnapping. Now it will go down. It is my engagement with security agencies and other relevant security agencies which facilitate and stopping the menace of the bandit and banditry in my own constituency. And I have a fact, the security agencies are there, and I have a statistic. Go and ask the local, it will tell.
All right, Senator, let me come in here with, I hope that we'll be able to get a breakdown, just a highlight of this, because there is the regular salaries and allowances, then there's a non-regular that comes to about 20 million for every 4-year term. When the revenue mobilization, so that's the breakdown for the purpose of for Nigerians to see. So what you're seeing at the moment is salaries and allowances per month. This is what they get as senators, slightly over $1 million. That's 1,063,000 naira, and that's what it is used for. But there's a second one that is called the non-regular. This is monthly. The non-regular is this particular one: furniture allowance, severance gratuity, as well as vehicle allowance that comes to, this is about 20 million plus. But this is not like every month. This is for the 4-year term. One is even a repayable loan. But the major money here is the issue of the running costs, which is what we are probing. And we're wondering why in the release of the Revenue Commission, they were silent about the running costs, which is why we're asking the question. So it means that, Senator, 1 million comes to you, 20 million goes for your running costs for your office as a senator. And we're asking in terms of impact, how far-reaching is it? So do you think with the economic situation we're dealing with, that is high or is not enough or is just adequate to be able to run your office? What's your assessment for giving you 20 million every month to run your office?
You have to correct your question from the first place. I put it clear, and I want you to understand, and my listeners too, my viewers, there is difference between allowances and running cost. I am saying salary, then the running cost. And when you are talking about allowances, which is not coming regular, like housing, car, and furnitures, that one is 4 years term. But this, what I am saying, is to do the job, and it is natural. It is parliamentary practice which is going on all over the world. When you go to UK, when you go to US, when you go to Canada, they used to collect their monthly salary, and there is running cost of their office. When you compare, some people blindly are compared what we are, what is paying to us as running cost of our office with the salary that we as a higher
Senator, if I may button, just a minute, Senator, if I may button. I think we are saying the same things. What I did with the slide was to explain your regular salaries and your regular allowances and salaries. Then we didn't add running costs to it. The 20 million plus, that's for the non-regular. We just have to break it down, which is for 4 years. So we are saying the same thing. But my question is, you're getting 20 million every month. And let's even find that, because if the revenue mobilization is silent about it, is it the National Assembly that appropriates that directly to the senators?
Quite all right. It is the responsibility of each agency to propose its expenditure. Then the president will, or budget office will determine how much we can give to this agency. In most cases, when we budgeted our budget, send it to Mr. President, they used to downscale it to a certain percentage. To say we are appropriating money by ourselves, I think it is not true. Presidency used to reduce our, or the executive used to reduce our allocation. This is what I am saying. It is not, and we are doing it, we are using a benchmark used by Nigeria. If a federal minister or DG or permanent secretary is traveling with business class or economic class, how much? When you are paying a hotel, how much are you paying? We are using that parameter, we are using that benchmark to arrive in the figure, not what people are saying. Not what people are saying.
So, Senator, so I can hand over to my colleagues. My question was 20 million naira, if you remove your salary and allowances that we calculated that the RMAFC clearly stated, if that 20 million naira every month my question is, don't you think it's much, or is not even enough in your assessment, or is fair? That's my question. And is it also, should Nigerians believe that 21 million naira is a motivation for lawmakers sometimes to kill themselves to get to the National Assembly?
I think the important part of this is that whether it is too much or it is less, my own as senator or as Senator Kawu Sumaila is that what is the outcome of this amount? Nigerians are earnestly looking for the outcome. If we are paying, they are not more interested on the quantum of the money, but what are we doing for this country? If, for example, we are oversighting, we are following the money. This money, we are following almost 30 trillion. When you take the National Assembly allocation in the budget, it is not up to 1% of the budget. The anticipation of the constitution or the anticipation of the system is to follow the money. If government awarded contract, for example, in 2006 and 2009 or 2010, I was appointed as a subcommittee chairman of to investigate the award of contract of this Kubwa Abuja airport, which was awarded by Yar'Adua government. Somebody came up with a motion that the money appropriated or the money of that contract is at higher rate. Therefore, you need to investigate. The House of Representatives to investigate. I was appointed to investigate that contract. For example, you are investigating 70 billion, and the anticipation of the government is for you to have something back to the treasury of the government. Block leakages. Therefore, what they gave you, or what is earmarked for you, is it enough for you to do the job? Now, I am a member of the committee to investigate to see what is going on in our 4 refineries. We took ourselves to Wari, we took ourselves to Patakot, we took ourselves to Kaduna almost 2 times, and we have a regular visit. And
all right, Senator Kawu, I guess we lost Abuja there, but I was just going to ask him, I hope he'll come back with this question. I like the parts where he said impact. It's not about the money. So it's not like Nigerians are looking at the money that is being given. What exactly is the impact of this money? What are the results? I like the parts he also said he was sent to the refinery. He's also asked to supervise what the refinery is. At this moment, we were just talking about what NNPCL is saying again about shifting dates of the operations of refineries. So you begin to ask questions that, so all of this money, you are going for meetings, you're going for this, you're going for that. What is the result?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I know the defense is always the fact that these monies are meant for a constituency office, some of their buy printer, buy ink, paper, all of the small things, as well as travel and all of that, which is why we asked the question I asked him, which I don't think he really answers, which Nigerians are interested in. Nigerians are looking at their pulse and saying, we don't have money, so everybody should cut down. So it's 20 million or 19 million, not so much to give you every month as running cost, which is why we wanted him to explain and justify that money, because the issue of National Assembly members and their earnings has been a very controversial issue until men like Senator Shehu Sani, I was speaking to him yesterday, said, as a member of civil society or group, an activist that he is, his conscience pricked him, and he felt that something that has been made secret for over 20 years. He came out and said, look, whatever you want to say, what hits my account as at then, the 8th Senate, was 13.5 million naira, and then what comes from the revenue, whatever, is 750,000 naira. But this is what I am telling you, the money that comes to my account, because the staff are paid by the National Assembly, that comes to my account, that is the national, as a senator then, is 13 million naira. But Senator Kawu is here. He's talked about the fact that what comes into his account is 21 million naira. Senator Kawu, I will throw it to my colleague in Abuja, who will ask further questions. But I don't think you answered my question, whether it's much or less.
No.
Or
Let
is
me
that...
answer your question. Let me answer your question in line with Shehu Sani's assertion. As the extent rate of our 8th National Assembly, where he is collecting 13 million, now is 21 million. Compared the exchange rate, you will see that their own is bigger than our own one. Secondly, buying the ticket now to Kano or to Lagos or to UK or to Ghana on 8th Assembly, and now how much is the ticket? Whatever you are doing, you must ask yourself the reality on the ground. If we want to fix this nation, we must put our head together and tell ourselves the truth. You want Nigeria to work, but you disagree with the fact. I am telling the fact.
Right.
I don't want to hide anything. I am telling the fact. And the question you are asking me, whether it is big, yes, I am Nigeria.
Is it enough or not enough? That's being fair. Do you think it's enough for you to do your work?
To do the legislative work.
Or there can be more added to it?
To do the legislative work, if not because of the economic challenges of our country, it will not do the effective and efficient oversight.
Yeah.
To oversight, to use 150 or 300 billion to oversight 30 trillion in a situation like Nigeria, it is very difficult. Let me give you an example of what is going on. A running cost in US, it is started from $1.2 million to $2 million per congressman. It is because they have money.
That's is that per annum?
No, yes, per annum. No. Yes, generally per annum.
Because I'm looking at
per annum.
The majority and minority leaders, it's $193,400 per annum, and this is that's a salary.
Yes, it's salaries.
Yes,
it's salary.
Yeah.
Not running cost of that office of the congressman. The average started from 1.2 to $2 million US to run the office, not the salary. Then when you go to UK, too, to run the office of the congressman in UK, go and ask the independent parliamentary standard authority, which was established 2010 because of the spending of the parliament, where there are so many problems in that 2010. They came up with this agency to look over the spending of the parliament and ask how much is earmarked to each and every congressman in UK.
All right, so you think that at least you can get, because of inflation again, clearly this might not be enough. The 21 million naira monthly might not be enough. So perhaps if you got some more, it can help you do your work better to oversight.
But what I am saying is that let us have an efficient and effective system which will lead to result where Nigerians
Let me just put this in context, Senator, as we wind down. So 21 million naira monthly times 12 months in a year, that's 252 million naira for a year for one senator, running cost. If you multiply that by 109 senators, that's 27 billion naira per year. If you now multiply that by 4 years, which you spend per term, that is 109 billion naira. And clearly you say that is not enough. On a final note, we have less than 1 minute. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo made those statements, and you know that he's someone who is informed. So he said that you people award salaries to yourself. And even when Ramfak put out a statement, it looked like they were being careful. They didn't get into some areas. So that's why a lot of people say they should come out to defend those figures they put out. So why will the...
That is the reason why I came out and defend myself.
I'm saying that Ramfac didn't give a full picture, but President Obasanjo said that, well, you people are word sellers. Why would President Obasanjo say that? Does that mean he's lying, or someone is obviously lying?
Quite all right. I totally disagree with him.
So
Obasanjo, I was a member of House of Representatives between 2003 to 2007. I was a member. It started during his own tenure.
This
monetization started during Obasanjo's era. And when he is a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, this is how it is. We are doing it. 10,000 of that very material time is almost 100,000 of this time. One. Secondly, National Assembly and Obasanjo, I cannot in any way, we cannot understand ourselves, because there is misunderstanding between National Assembly and Obasanjo since 2005. And when you are talking about the corruption, it is the Obasanjo who introduced corruption to the National Assembly.
I mean, those are weighty allegations.
Weighty allegations.
What proof do you have?
I have a proof. I have a proof because he is the one, or it is his government and his associate who corrupted some of members of the National Assembly for them to have extension or altering the constitution for him to continue.
What do you mean by corrupted? You have to be clear on that. So it's not like
they used to give members of the National Assembly money.
Did you get money?
Quite all right. No, because I am anti. Everybody knew that I am anti. And the current president and from Lagos and some of us stood against Obasanjo. All what Obasanjo is doing is that he just want to catch the mind of the people, because he knew it is very sensitive. But Obasanjo, he is the father of corruption. He is the one who introduced corruption. He is the one who corrupted the National Assembly.
Has been able to find him guilty. You cannot find him guilty right here on Channels Television. So if you have a case against him, take him to court,
but let him take us to
rather
court.
Than using a national platform to denigrate the personality. We know how the laws are. You're a lawmaker.
Yes, but let him
but we
take
have
us
to anchor
court.
at this point. But you can land on that point. I know you're chairman of sports committee. Am I correct?
Yes.
We didn't get a medal in the Olympics.
Very unfortunate.
So will heads be rolling for you? Do you think heads should roll?
Well, we are putting our report together. Yeah. And when we finish, inshallah, Nigerians will know our position.
So would there be punitive measures? Because that's what Nigerians want.
Quite all right. Quite all right. So more than this,
is that the minister? Is that the federation?
We are contemplating of having a public hearing where we will allow Nigerians to come and tell us, to come and interact on way forward in our support industry in Nigeria.
Senator
Everybody will come and...
We have to continue this conversation another day, but we have to commend you for coming out to speak. This is what we expect of public officials, to speak to the people who elected them. We've been talking to the senator representing Kano South Senatorial District, Senator Sumaila Kawu. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you.
We'll take a moment now, and when we return, we're big on engagement, connecting young Nigerians to what's playing out in government. And we turn our attention to another issue in the executive. That's in a moment. Stay with us. So what next after the End Bad Governance protests? Well, for one, we right here will play our part by engaging government and ensuring that they are answerable to the people and let's deliver the dividends of democracy. Today, we have joining us to push that conversation further, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement Northwest, Mr. Abdullahi Tanko Yakasai. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Morning, Kyle. Thank you for having me.
Seeing the images coming out of the Northwest region, Kano, Kaduna, seeing young people, very young people waving, foreign flags, trooping out into the streets. For a lot of people, they were shocked, thinking, where did they come from? Where have they been? Now, after the protests, where did they go to? Because there's still that concern. Former president said we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder. So there's that challenge. You are in charge of community engagement. So you play a major role in linking what President Bola Tinubu is doing and linking it to what the people see and know about the functions of government. So speak to us first about what we saw play out during the End Bad Governance protests. What have you been able to glean regarding those young Nigerians? Where are they now? Let me just ask you, are they back at home? Are they back somewhere? Have you been able to ask those questions?
Thank you so much for having me, Kayode. I think, let me start by going back to the genesis of this problem. These boys, as we speak, they are not back at home. Majority of them are on the streets because they have always been on the streets. Just take an instance, before former President, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari came into power, during the campaign times in 2014, any boy at that time that was 10 years is now 20 years, has become an adult, should have been doing one or two things to take care of himself, even if he can't do it for his parents and his siblings, but at least for himself. So it has been a neglect of this teeming youth for a long time. And three things are playing out, Mr. Kayode. One, the lack of education. Two, because these boys are on the street, they lack morals. They are not well trained and cultured because they go out since morning, they roam the streets, they don't go back home. No, the parents don't even know what time they get back home. So there's that moral decadence. And then number three, the street is their terrain. So what played out when I sat down, I looked at it, I saw that it was a neglect by our leaders, by our people over time. Because, I mean, in the last 10 years, if these boys have been, educated, once you have a job to do, you won't go out there on the street protesting, vandalizing people's, businesses and all that. So for me, the root cause of this is the lack of education to those children. The former president before Buhari, His Excellency Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, started a program, a wonderful program, the Almajiri school system. Yeah. And based on statistics, in the north alone, we have over 10 million of these boys. Imagine if these boys have been educated, what they could have done to themselves and even to the economy of the country.
And that takes me to my next question. In fact, two of them, two-pronged.
Okay.
Because you're meant to do this community engagement thing on a big scale, particularly in the Northwest. Tell us, what then is a plan of the Tinubu government for these young people who you say are still on the streets? I shudder to think what they're doing right now, what their mindset is, and what it will take to get them back on the right track. So walk us through briefly. So what plan does the Tinubu government have? And I imagine that the plan should have been in motion already for at least a year now, because if it's not started yet, then we have a big challenge in our hands. That's on the one hand. The second question is then, people have said that the North does not really like the Tinubu government. In fact, those protests, some saw it as a way of North telling the Tinubu government that we're not a fan of you, really, because it wasn't clear-cut who they voted for between Atiku and President Tinubu. It was a very close one. So two questions: the Tinubu government's plan and the North's, approach towards this Tinubu government. Do they like this government? Are they supporting this government? You'll have engaged people and you know better.
Yes, okay. To answer your first question, His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has rolled out a lot of programs to support our teeming youth. We have about 11 programs at the moment that people are benefiting. There's the social register where a lot of our youth are benefiting from this social register. Just recently, I got to know that about 20 million Nigerians are collecting this conditional cash transfer.
Is it the 50,000 or how much?
25, it varies, 25,000 and 50,000.
How many people did you say?
Over 19 million. Before it was 50 million, as I'm talking to you. And it has increased in the last few months to 19-point-something million Nigerians.
And the people in your constituency getting it? You've done the community engagement.
Yes, they are getting it.
So we can ask now and they will tell us that they are getting it.
In fact, I have figures to give you that we're putting people in that social register. It started from December. For 3 months, 25,000. People have seen their alerts that December. But
so
because
3
of
months,
the issues,
it will be over now.
It will be over 3 months. Then the more we're getting more money, the more we're increasing the register. This is why I'm telling you, at the moment we have over 19 million. This is a fact. Go and check it to verify. These people are getting this grant. There's the student loan. This NEL fund that is disbursing student loan. As of now, immediately the president announced this. As of today, over 2.2 billion has been released. My state, Kano State, is getting the highest with over 800 out of 2.2 billion. 850, is it 3 or 6, is from Bayero University, Kano. Next is University of Borno, University of Maiduguri. In Borno State, is getting close to 500 million. That's then the other ones you see 45, 25. So we're expecting, as of today now, over 20,000 students, youth, are benefiting from the student loan. This is all aimed at making sure no student drops out because of financial issues. So, and Mr. President has said 45.6 billion has been given to NEL Fund for this program. And in his broadcast to the nation, he mentioned that additional 50, which is in aggregate about 100 billion, has been put in for this student loan. Then we have the other ones like the Youth Initiative, where 110 billion is there for them. So now, what Mr. President is doing is strategic. First of all, he has put in 100 billion for school feeding. This is for basic education. He has now put in 100 billion for tertiary institutions.
So we're back to school feeding now.
We'll be back to it. He has put in now all the agencies under the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs have been appointed now.
But we've not seen the outcome of the probe of the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. So the question is then, how do we trust the process if we've not seen the outcome of the previous one?
Coyote,
we don't even know whether she's guilty or not.
You know, the issue of that is around EFCC, and there's legal issues there. So I don't know what is happening, but I know they're on top of it. But to tell you the truth, these programs I'm telling you are ongoing. So Mr. President has touched the basic young upcoming Nigerians. 1, 2, the tertiary institutions, so no student will drop out once you finish this school. And we're doing we're planning to start town hall meeting with these students at the university level, so that they know that this thing is not, you're supposed to pay after graduating.
Pardon me. So we have more questions for you. Let's allow you take some water. Jeffrey and Ann, over to you guys.
All right, Mr. Akasai, let's continue in that trajectory. First, let me ask, because when the students' loan came on board, people asked a lot of questions. First, do you think that the issue of the student loan was a necessity as far as this time and age is concerned for the Nigerian economy? That's my first question. And then secondly, people are saying that rather than a loan, it should be a grant. Does it make sense to you that that should be the direction of the government?
Okay, you see, honestly, the student loan is a deliberate attempt by Mr. President to make sure no student drops out. It's been happening. It's been happening. Once you don't have the money to pay for your second term semester, it means you won't be in that school for that second term semester, and it means you can't go to the next year in your university. So it's a deliberate attempt by Mr. President to make sure no student drops out. Then secondly, why it is a loan? Yes, if you look at it, it's on a single-digit rate, the interest. And if you make it a loan, every student that collects that money knows that he must be serious, he must do what is right, he must concentrate in school and make sure he graduates. Because he knows that once he starts working, he will pay that loan by the time he finishes school and start. So this is something we also need to bring awareness to the people, especially engagement in town hall meeting with the students, so that they get to know that this loan, you're not going to be paying immediately. It's not going to strangulate you. You have the liberty to get it from level 1 up to level 4, and then till after you graduate, you start working. That is when you start paying, because it's linked with your BBN, it's linked with your NIN and all that. So it's a deliberate attempt by this government to make sure that education is given topmost priority.
Well, it's still at the infant stage, so we're still watching and how it plays out eventually.
At the infant stage, in the last 3 months, I'm giving you these figures. In the last 3 monds,
it's still at
from when Mr. President...
It's still at infant stage. It's just been implemented. That's what I'm saying. So,
yes.
Let's just leave it at that. Now, let's go to the issue of which where Kayode started from. Sorry about that. Which Kayode started from, which has to do with the protest. When you look at what happened with the End Bad Governance process, and we look at the way government characterized this protest, it feels to the onlookers like the government majored on what subversive elements or political interest, people with political interest will do with the protest rather than what the people themselves actually want out of the protest. Do you think that the government really, or let me put it this way, don't you think the government missed out on an opportunity to really engage the Nigerian people on what they want in representation of what they define as good governance? Because the highlights of what happened is things were destroyed, regrettably. People were killed. Sadly, it's quite unfortunate. And all of that, there was a lot of noise as to how it can be hijacked. Eventually, it was hijacked and all of that. But do you think government missed out on an opportunity to really give the people the kind of governance they want in terms of listening to them and attending to their needs? Because you're in charge of engagement for community.
Okay, thank you so much. You see, Mr. President, during his broadcast, said he has heard these young Nigerians. He shares in their pain for good governance. But His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is just over a year in office. And so that means all this problem of bad governance hasn't started during his time. In fact, he's doing his best because the remarkable achievements of Mr. President in agriculture, in power sector, in the economy itself, because as it is now, Nigeria, between January to June 2023, and if you compare it to January to June 2024, Nigeria has saved like 9.1 trillion between January to June 2024, compared to what was obtainable last year. And then Mr. President has gone further to be servicing those debts that are holding Nigeria by the neck, especially the backlog we have on Forex. So he was able to, leverage on the resources we're getting from the removal of fuel subsidy. He has paid airline operators that are holding the debt, that we keep servicing those debt, in and out. He has paid $5 billion. This has settled the airline operators. This has settled those that are, giving us gas to power our plants. That's in the power sector. So, I mean, he's doing wonderful economic programs, social intervention programs in agriculture. We have cultivated 118,000 and beyond. And his plan is we're going to cultivate 10 million hectares. Now, at the moment, we have cultivated 118. This has added to the economy with 309 billion into the economy. This is a wonderful program. And then, you see, out of that 118, our neighboring state, Jigawa State, 40,000 hectares of land has been cultivated. So these are all aimed at, bringing down the cost of governance, bringing down hardship. And then the borders have been opened. Mr. President has directed that the borders should be open for grains, rice, maize, sorghum, and all that. And he has removed tariff on the importation of these things, So all these are aimed at not only the food grains, even pharmaceuticals. And then on the CNG side of the whole thing, by the time throughout the nation we are having the CNG centers and the buses, 70% of the price of transportation will reduce. So it's a gradual process, but we're getting there, and Mr. President is doing his best to make sure that this country is being reset, because we need reorientation of our people. We need reorientation of our own selves to make sure that, yes, Nigeria becomes the Nigeria of our dream.
All right, Mr. Yakasai, I recall last year you were very big on talking about insecurity. And as, of course, the special assistant now in the northwestern zone, which is made up of where most of the insecurity problems are, Kano, Kaduna, we're talking about Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto. What have you been able to achieve in terms of engagement? When you talk about community engagement, which means you're listening to what the community wants, you're listening to what people want, and you're getting that feedback back to government and governance to ensure that serious actions are taken in terms of insecurity. Looking at everything going on now, talking about insecurity in the Northwest region where you oversee, what would you think? Do you think you're even doing enough to say what the people want in terms of community engagement and tackling insecurity in that region?
Okay, thank you so much. You see, the issue of insecurity, I keep saying this all the time. It's not just about our security forces, the police, the army, civil defense, and whatnot. No, it's a collective thing. We are trying as much as possible to let people know that security is all about the whole community, because what we're advocating now is community policing, because these people, the criminals, are within these communities. So once we enlighten people through town halls meeting, through one-on-one engagement, through meeting with the traditional rulers, the community leaders, and even government personalities, we tell them that this community policing is the only way that will bring a lasting solution. So it's a collective thing. Everybody must be involved in tackling this insecurity. As it is, I will tell you, there's a lot of improvement because if you had remembered during the last administration, you can't go to Kano, to Abuja, to Kaduna by road. But when was the last time you heard of kidnapping in the Northwest? In Kano, Kaduna, Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria axis. That was a daily occurrence of insecurity. Now you can drive, you can go by train. There's that, we can see there's improvement in that area. Mm-hmm. The challenge is still in Katsina, precisely, and Zamfara. And I think our security forces are doing their best because compared to where we're coming from and now, obviously, between you and I, you know that there's a lot of reduction in crime and all this insurgency. Because before, every now and then you hear of schools being kidnapped, 300, 400 students being kidnapped from schools, from villages.
Well, as
now
a matter of fact, there's still kidnappings.
There's still kidnapping,
just
but
barely days ago, a wife and kids were kidnapped. In fact, there's a certain doctor who's been in the kidnappers' den for months now. We had that conversation yesterday. So these challenges are still there when you talk about the Kaduna-Abuja access, but these challenges still remain. Let's begin to wind down now, because I asked you earlier on about the perception of northern Nigeria, about the Tinubu government. And I reiterate, during that period, it was as though the North was saying, well, Tinubu government, we're not a fan of you. Is that true?
That is your perception. That is not true. What you saw that happened during this Ed-Band governance riot is people that are not happy with this government.
Because it's only Northwest we saw protesters asking Putin to take over, calling for the military.
That is to tell you, with these children that are 20 years and below, how do they know?
Because we didn't see that during the Buhari.
How do they know army?
We didn't see that during the
Buhari.
Buhari.
Were they alive when?
Obviously,
when
those children.
No, when Abacha was in power.
We didn't see
how did they know military? Some people are instigating them.
No, this is what I'm saying. We didn't see those protests.
Yes.
Them calling for military to take over when the Buhari government was in power.
That's what I'm telling you. There are people behind it.
Okay.
The security report has shown that there are people behind that flag you see.
So why now? Why not then? When we had challenges as well.
It's a continuous thing.
Okay. We have to wind down now.
It's still APC government.
We really have to run. But you come from a very rich political background. Your father just released a statement about the call for a new constitution. Your brother as well from APC to PRP. Now he's back in the APC.
He's back in the APC.
I believe with Ganduje. With Ganduje,
Yes,
whom they had issues when
yes.
he was commissioner. So quite interesting political background you have, but we'll see how that plays out in the coming days. But thank you so much for your time. Of course, we'll continue this engagement.
Yes, I want
you
to
can
give
make the
my
point.
closing remarks.
10 seconds.
Okay. Please, I urge all our Northwest youth to please, a lot of these programs of government, 11 I said, are there for you to key in. We will continue to engage you, to enlighten you on town hall meetings and all that, and platforms for you to know how to key in so that you benefit from it. All these programs are
And it's important for them to see it in reality. But we'd like to thank you so much. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement Northwest, Abdullahi Tanko Yakasai. A lot of people will know your father, Tanko Yakasai.
But it's me they don't know.
It's you there. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you so much, Kaidi. Thank you so much.
A quick break now, and when we return, well, you must have heard about his story. He's a young Nigerian who is quite brilliant in the world of music. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It is still the morning brief right here on Channels Television. And you know how we do it here. Once we discuss the serious things, that we come and land on a softer level, on a softer note. And that's what we'll be doing today. As we know that music, they say it is a form of something that just heals you somehow. And Afrobeats is really an amazing platform for a lot of musicians right now at the moment to tell their story, and the world is accepting Afrobeats. They're going far at the moment. So we'll be talking a lot about music and things around it with Good News Emoemo. He's a Nigerian, and under the record label Eric Mani Entertainment. His name, as you know him, by most of you call him G Newsy, but that's a short form from Good News, as I asked him before the show. So thank you very much for joining us on the morning brief. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
The first question naturally will be, how did this all start for you?
It's not been easy actually. It's been tough, but
let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
How did you come into music?
I would say I was born with music.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Did it start from church or?
Yeah, from church actually. It's more like something I inherited from my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then I started doing the whole thing in church for a while, and then had to move to creating music, going to the studio. Yeah, to start creating music and all of that, the process and all. So, and that was it. Then from there, one other stuff and all of that before I could move to Lagos.
All right, so when you say creating music, do you mean from start to finish, like production, talking about the beats, writing the songs, or you have people who do that for you and then you just go into the studio to sing?
Yeah, when you say creating process, it's like it's just like when you're building.
Yes.
So most time you create from the scratch. So we start from making the beats, and then I'll start recording. After making the beats, then I'll record. So I write my songs myself.
Okay.
So yeah, and when I'm doing my recordings, I don't write my own songs like everything out. It's just like, it's not penning down. Not penning down, I just do it on the mic.
Oh, so you freestyle on every song you do? It just comes from your head. It's not like written scripts.
So that's why I say it's building. Okay. So you have to build it and make it make sense.
Okay, so let's go back to something off the music scene. I think from what I read about the incident, your security incident, the kidnapping, maybe walk us through that and the challenges you had to face, one of which perhaps could be believability. You know what happened with Skippy and all of that scenario. People like, okay, when these things happen to people, the first thing people ask, when this happens to artists, the first thing people used to ask is it a stunt? Is there a record coming out? So walk us through that very harrowing experience for the audience.
Yeah, so I'm going to make it brief because the experience wasn't nice and it's giving me PTSD.
Oh,
yeah. So I actually had a show in Delta State, so I had to go for the show. It wasn't like a show though. I went for a radio tour. So after the radio tour, I wanted to just do like a listening party before coming back to Lagos. So so after the show, I was heading back to the hotel when the car just
came,
ambushed us, and it was like they were actually putting on police uniforms. Yeah, so
you couldn't suspect.
I felt like maybe it was just some police stuff, and I just kept calm and followed. Just took me into their car and blindfolded me.
So what does that say about insecurity in Nigeria?
A lot. We actually need to work on that pretty well, because it wasn't just me alone. After my own incident, a lot of people have actually encountered the same thing.
You've talked about it giving you PTSD. Have you been able to go through therapy or any form of reassuring yourself that you are safe right now? And probably people that have gone through that same experience, maybe you have some words for them on how to pass through that phase.
Yeah, I have gone through therapy. That's why I'm a little bit more better. Yeah, so. But for my message to everybody actually is, everybody got to be safe. You have to really play safe. I can't even tell how it all happened, but we all have to be safe. Yeah.
Okay, so before we toss it to Kayode in Abuja, sometimes life experiences, forms part of your message. How much of your experiences has formed part of what you put down as, curating time and moment for audience of now and posterity?
Can you rephrase, please?
So what I'm trying to say here is that with your experience, so some people, their music is based on personal experience.
Yeah.
That's what inspires them, whether it's sad, beautiful, or not, they want to vibe, they want to be solemn and all of that, like Adele and all of that. How much of that has influenced your writing, personal experience? I know you say it's a process for you, and then you hit the studio, and then you begin to vibe on the sound, and you don't pen down anything, but you just get on the sound and record your song.
I also make music from my life experience too. Yeah, I like the other song I had with my Odumodu. Yeah, was actually from my life experience too.
What was it about?
Yeah, it's all about struggle and trying to let people know that humans are actually really bad, not what they say they are. Yeah, so humans can just backbite you at any time. So it's more better for me to just be introverted, just be on my lane. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, like just trying to be on my lane and do my thing. And to sum it up, I also, the chorus says maneuver. So it's like me maneuvering from all of the struggles and all of the stuff that happened. Yeah.
All right, so I think Kayode in our Abuja studio has a question for our guest. So Kayode, over to you.
Right, and let me see if I can maneuver Jinuzi, my question quickly as we wind down. By the way, fantastic song with Odumodu Black, and it was big on you're not competing with anybody, you are on your lane, doing your thing. I'd like you to speak to us as to where you see yourself maybe in the next few years. I know you have big dreams, but how big are these dreams, Jinuzi? Walk us through.
Really big, but yeah. And where I see myself is a few years from now. I can't even say, but you're just going to see.
So you're just going to see. Are there collaborations you're hoping for more? You started with Odumodu Black right now.
Yeah, I still have more collaborations actually coming.
Yeah. So what are the challenges? Because I know you look like an easygoing guy. I don't know that you're easygoing or you're just a quiet, dangerous guy. I'm not sure.
Introvert.
You know, some people are quiet and dangerous. I'm not sure which one you are.
That's me.
That's you, quiet and dangerous. So let's talk about some of the challenges you faced in the space. Every space has their own challenge. What has been those challenges you've seen in this music industry that is very concerning to you, that if you have a way you would like to change so that people like you who are also trying to get your heads out of the water would also, you know, not face this challenge?
Yeah, like where I'm from, it's very hard for them to actually support.
Where are you from?
From Delta State.
Okay.
Yeah, really very hard for them to really support. Yeah, I have fans, of course, but when I say support, I mean, we have big celebrities also who are from our places and all of that. And we look up to these people. We expect that when they see a growing one coming up, they were supposed to support, show that up, show some love. That's the least they can do. But it's sad they don't.
Well, don't you think it's also coming from a place where when they also were coming up, they didn't have that support, but they had to find their way to bring their head up from the water also?
I mean, yes, of course, but are we going to continue that way? Somebody got to change it.
So what's the change you are bringing?
Now, my mission actually is to just give back to the community.
All right.
Yes, that's my mission.
Give back through your songs?
Yeah,
or you have
give back to the community through my songs, financially, and all of that. Say, that's my plan. That's what I want to do.
So let's catalog your process, your some of your sounds. So how many songs have you recorded so far?
A lot.
I mean, audio without video first, and then we can talk about the videos. The one that have video.
Like, do you mean songs that have dropped?
Yes, recorded and out. Yes, records that are out.
Okay, I have like about 3 songs out. Yeah.
Okay, so how are they doing? By your own assessment, because when you go to the studio, the idea is that you want to put out a sound that everybody will relate to, and you know they say it's blow in Nigeria. And one word they use a lot in the country. So what, the reception for you, how has it been?
Very well, actually. It's slow, but it's actually going well. It's slow, but it's actually going well. For my last release song, it's really going well. It's a big process. Yeah, big progress, actually.
All right. So we hope to see more of you, more collaborations, right, in this music industry.
Yeah,
and of course, in a few years, we hope to see your name on maybe A or B list. I mean,
everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. That's what you're promising us. All right. Thank you very much. Good news, Emuemu. G-Newsy as a Nigerian and under the record label Eric Mani Entertainment. Thanks for your time on the show. And we wish you the very best.
Yeah, God bless you.
All right. So we're not rounding off yet. We have to toss it to our Abuja studio where Kayode is starting to give us some feedback that you've been sending in.
Absolutely, guys, and it's good to see the dreams you have for G-Newsy. Well, let's start with this one from WhatsApp, and it's about the conversation we had with Senator Kawu on the senators' salaries and the outputs that Nigerians see. This first one says Senator Kawu is raising a crucial point of the present realities, but I put it to him again, do they really consider these present realities when they pass bills that are not helping the average Nigerian? Talking about the present realities, what are they doing to help a low salary earner with 2 kids and can't even provide them with a 2 square meal a day because of the high cost of basic food items?
All right, let's go to the next one from WhatsApp as well. This, we don't have your name, but Okay, I think it's the same one actually. So let's go to the one on
there's one here which says that I would love to suggest that Nigeria makes an effort at hosting the Nations Cup, the World Cup and the Olympics at some point. Whichever city wins, the bid can become our sporting capital and be used for training. Sports like gymnastics and the bicycle riding that caused controversy would then be commonplace. That's coming from Ubong James Essien from Calabar. Thank you very much. Jeffrey, would you imagine Nigeria hosting?
Well, we hope that someday Nigeria will be well ready. Right now, we're not ready for hosting an Olympics, but maybe in the future as we continue to do the right things. But must thank you so much for your time and company. Thank you. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga.
Thank you very much for watching the Morning Brief today. I'm Anne Nwaude. We'll see you again tomorrow.
So here's what we'll do. Let's start preparing. If you're a young Nigerian, make sure you play your part as well. Sunrise Dailies next starts from right here in our Abuja studio. I'm Kayode Kukile. Bye.